Hey there, and welcome to Womenpreneur Asia, the podcast that features the most insightful and interesting Asian women entrepreneurs in Asia. I'm Krista Goon, the host and creator of the podcast, and today's episode is a solo episode about becoming memorable and unique. And if you're an entrepreneur looking to stand out, build trust, and attract the right clients, then you're in the right place. In today's episode, we're talking about one of the most powerful tools in marketing yourself and your business, which is personal branding and storytelling. I'll be breaking down how to craft a compelling personal brand story, why it matters, and how to use it effectively for your marketing. By the end of this episode, I promise you'll walk away with actionable steps to start telling your own story with confidence. If you're ready, let's dive in. Now, why personal branding matters? Let's start with this. We hear this all the time. You must build your personal brand. But what is a personal brand? Let's first define what it is not. It is not a logo. It is not a bunch of colors, and it's certainly not a symbol. It's not tangible. You can't hold it or touch it. You can't keep it in a box. A personal brand is intangible, yet it is what defines you when you walk into a room. Sometimes your brand precedes you. To put it simply, your personal brand is what people say about you when you're in the room and when you're not in the room. It's how people describe you through your character, personality, and values. It's how others think about you and talk about you. It's sometimes about the work that you do, but it's not just about what you do. It's about who you are, what you stand for, and how people perceive you. Today's world is different, and I tell my clients all the time that people just don't buy products or services just because you offer them as a business. They buy into people who could be the founders or employees of the business, and the positive feelings, values, and emotions that the purchase offers them. Think about your own behavior. Don't you love supporting businesses when you connect with the founder story? For example, if I say Oprah Winfrey, you immediately associate her with authenticity, empowerment, and storytelling, and that's branding in action. What usually helps you in your effort to define a brand truly lies in how your clients and prospects describe you and your business. How would you like your clients to describe you? What words will light you up? If defining your personal brand seems too complex, here's a quick way to break the process down. I want you to grab a pen and paper and pause this episode for just 5 minutes while you write down 3 words you want people to associate with you. It may not be words that you immediately think describes you, but this is the first step. These words will help you guide your branding efforts. I'll give you an example. The 3 words that I use for myself is kind, genuine, and adventurous. I want to be known for these 3 values, but how do you demonstrate these values? In every situation I'm in, I try to exemplify these values. I remember recently I was in Manila for a conference, and after the 2-day conference, I moved out of the hotel and moved into an Airbnb. I wanted to extend my stay and visit some family and friends. The stay at the Airbnb, which was an apartment on the 28th floor of an apartment block, wasn't too bad, except that I couldn't watch Netflix as it kept prompting for a login and password, which belonged to the unit owner. I also discovered that the sewage smell emanated from the bathroom drain. I decided to text the unit owner and suggested that she look into the unit. When I left Manila, Airbnb, as always, would always ask for a review of the place that I stayed in. I could have listed down my complaints in my official review and posted about it on Airbnb, but I decided that since I had informed the unit owner, I would just stick to the positives about the unit, which is a great location right across from the Legazpi Park, a popular park where people came to jog or exercise in the mornings and evenings. I also mentioned that the unit was great because it was located near a convenience store, and there was also a lovely cafe next door. So this was me being kind to the unit owner, knowing how much a good review would help her get her next customer. As an Airbnb owner, she also left me a review. But after she read my review of her unit, she deleted her review of me, as she said I was very kind in my review. Could I have complained about the smell and Netflix? I could have, but I decided to focus on sharing the positive aspects of her unit. When you list 3 words that describe you, you start to embody these values more. For instance, if you listed that you would like to be known as an expert in AI, Wouldn't you start learning more every day about AI so that you could live up to your expectations of yourself as someone with expertise about AI? We live up to our expectations of ourselves more when we write down what we want to become. In fact, this is a powerful exercise to help you reflect on the person you wish to be. Now that you have put down 3 words that you wish to be associated with, let's talk about stories. People remember stories far more than they recall facts and figures. A great story fires up the imagination, stirs your emotion, creates connection, and increases trust and relatability. When I work with my clients, I love encouraging them to share their stories. Many of them will hesitate, saying that there's nothing interesting or glamorous in their lives. I often correct them. I say, all of us have unique experiences and stories that define us. We don't think we're interesting, but we all are. Tell me your story and I can find the gems and nuggets in your life that I can connect with, that I can resonate with. Perhaps it is my journalism training, or that I'm insatiably curious about people. I have helped my clients craft stories that made them in awe of themselves. I kid you not. But I don't embellish. I just uncover the beautiful stories of their lives and help them connect the dots and find meaning in those experiences. But why is your story such a powerful vehicle for growing trust as a business owner? Because your story tells me who you are and what you are. It tells me what motivates you, what matters to you, and what messes with your mind. It tells me far more than a glossy brochure or a marketing campaign. A great story connects to the heart of your clients. It brings tears to their eyes because as humans, we recognize and acknowledge each other's humanity. When I teach my workshop on storytelling for business, many of my participants who are business owners don't know where to start. So here's a simple way to think about your story. Your personal brand story should answer these questions. 1. Define yourself. Who are you? And I don't mean who are you in the sense of a business owner, but who are you in totality? Who are you holistically? Who are you when you're not a business owner? What is it that fires you up? 2. Define your purpose. What led you to start your business? What led you to create your products? What led you to create the services that you now offer? 3. Define your struggles. What challenges did you overcome personally and professionally to get to this place where you are now? I recall hearing a podcast episode where someone said that you shouldn't show the world the messy parts of you. And I really beg to differ. There is nothing wrong showing the world the messy parts of you, because all of us are messy. All of us are humans. And of course, if you show the personal messy side of you, you believe that people will judge you because of the personal messiness in your life. But I also say that the personal messiness of your life makes me more aware that you're just human like me. So to me, if you want to talk about personal and professional stories, anecdotes, nuggets, go for it. But make sure you know how each of these connect to the story that you want to tell. So if you have to put all the mess in, make sure it's a curated mess, but make sure that you know the reason why you're putting the mess in. A lot of people like to talk about how they fail and how they struggle, and I think that is good if you actually struggled. But if you didn't struggle, don't put that in, because that would really be inauthentic. 4. Define your meaning. How does your story shape your business today? How does being dissatisfied with what you saw in the market or in the industry led you to do what you're doing right now? So take for instance my podcast. I was a podcast listener for a good 10 years before I even started my podcast. And even then, I really didn't imagine starting one because I thought that there were so many incredible podcasters out there, so many great stories to be heard, and so many podcasts that I haven't yet discovered. And yet, one day, I realized that there was a gap. And the gap was that while I listened to so many amazing American podcasters talking about business and marketing and sales, I found that within the Asian context, I wanted to hear conversations with Asian women entrepreneurs in Asia, and I wanted to hear their struggles and their stories and their strategies. And I started searching for what I wanted to hear and what I wanted to listen to. And I realized that I couldn't find any. Some were very businesslike, and some were really, really amazing in the sense that they talked about the business. But sometimes, in my own opinion, I'll rather hear the stories of the person first before I hear how she started the business, because that gave me an idea of who she is, and it also gave me an idea of what compelled her to start her business. So given that I had all these questions in my head, like why wasn't there a podcast that focused just on these Asian women in business? And I'm sure there were so many Asian women that I knew personally that I could even feature on my podcast, that I started playing around with the idea that perhaps, just perhaps, I could do something like that. I could fill a gap. And my second reason was that if we don't see or hear or get inspired by stories of people just like us around us, we would never know that there is someone that we can look up to. There's someone that that can be a role model. There's someone that we could really look up to in the sense of not just admiring that person, but admiring how smart she is, and also learning from her, learning her strategies, learning the things that she's doing for her business. So that's what I mean by define your meaning. How does a story shape your business today? So for me personally, I came into podcasting because I just wanted to hear stories of other women in Asia. How were they running their businesses? What were some of their strategies? What were some of their success stories? And more importantly, what were some of their struggles? And after podcasting for so many seasons, and this is my season 9, I realized that we are all the same. Regardless of our background, regardless of which Asian country we come from, we all share the same struggles. So that is what I mean by define your meaning. How does your story shape your business today? And 5, define your future. How might your story change or unfold in the next few years? So for me right now, I think part of why I love podcasting is because it opens doors to so many different women across Asia. It opens doors to so many possible projects and collaborations that I could do with others, that it is a very interesting story, and the story is still unfolding. Now, I'll also share a quick example from my own business journey. I never thought I would be in business. I was a corporate communications manager in a software company, and I never imagined being an entrepreneur. Yet, I was bored at work, and boredom made me sign up at the local university to study for a master's degree. I picked a topic that I was interested in, English language and linguistics, instead of a degree that was popular and acceptable, and even more marketable, such as an MBA. However, juggling a career and part-time studies was not as easy as I had imagined. Balancing both work and studies completely stressed me. One day, I had a moment of clarity, where I decided I had to choose one. Long story short, I chose to quit my job and focus entirely on completing my master's degree. The way I reasoned it, or the way I saw it, I could always get another job later. Eventually, I graduated with my master's degree, much to my own relief. Around the time, I began asking my husband if he needed help in the business. At that time, he was developing websites. I had no experience in programming or web design, but I could write, and I was not afraid of speaking in public. I started with learning how to write content for websites, and I learned how to incorporate marketing into my writing, turning content into copywriting. My copywriting worked in helping our clients transform their website visitors into paying clients. That was my greatest satisfaction, knowing that the words that I wrote for a website helped turn a casual website visitor into a paying client. As for public speaking, I started with speaking for small groups of 20 people, and soon I was speaking in front of a crowd of 400 people or more. When I started speaking, I spoke about my business, which was back then web development, and how business owners and entrepreneurs could use websites as marketing platforms to grow their businesses. Our business has grown over the years to include not just web development, but teaching business owners about strategy, marketing, and sales using our entrepreneur game. And today, besides teaching, training, and consulting, I've also embarked on a new adventure as a podcaster, where I share stories of Asian women entrepreneurs in Asia. In all my endeavors throughout my 21 years in business, my purpose has been clear. We empower entrepreneurs with the knowledge, tools, and strategy to grow in the ways that they wish to grow. I help clients tell their stories on their websites so that they could easily gain customers. I help my podcast guests tell their stories so that we can support women entrepreneurs in Asia. Ultimately, I help clients tell their stories so that we can connect with the human side of doing business. So what struggles did I overcome to be here today? Well, I didn't know anything about web development when I first started. I didn't know about copywriting, although I was a communications graduate. I didn't know how to sell our services or close deals when I first started. But nothing teaches faster than jumping into the business and starting by meeting prospects, creating sales presentations, and closing deals. And after years in the business, my business partner and I even authored a book about leveraging websites as marketing platforms. So it's your turn now. Write down a short version of your own story by answering these questions. And these questions, again, I repeat, who are you? So define yourself. Who are you? Number 2, define your purpose. What led you to start your business? 3, define your struggles. What challenges did you overcome personally and professionally to get to this place where you are right now? 4, define your meaning. How does your story shape your business today? 5, define your future. How might your story change or unfold in the next few years? Now let's talk about something that makes personal branding truly unique, your voice. Your brand voice should reflect your personality, values, and mission. Are you casual and friendly or more formal and authoritative? Think about how you naturally communicate and let that shine through in your messaging. For me, I like expressing myself in a friendly and casual tone. You can see that in my social media posts. I like being straightforward, direct, and pragmatic too. I like to communicate clearly without any misunderstanding. In my free time, I love to read fiction and business books. I enjoy traveling without an agenda. I delight in uncovering new restaurants and cafes in my city. I'm also a huge advocate for recycling, reusing, and repurposing. So much so that together with my husband, who is also my business partner, we started a project to save pre-loved books in 2016. The project is now run entirely by volunteers, and we have the satisfaction of knowing that the project we started has been raising great money for charity while giving parents and children a chance to read quality books. I'm an animal lover. I have a cat now, but I used to have 14 hamsters. I enjoy meeting people, and I do better in small groups rather than in a huge crowd. I relish meaningful and deep conversations with people I care about. I'm the eldest of 3 girls in my family, and I always have been independent. I like mentoring, particularly younger women, because I wish I had a big sister mentor when I was growing up. Whenever I introduce myself during speaking engagements or webinars, I try to incorporate some parts of my life into my story. This makes my story come alive. Here's a quick exercise. List 5 fun facts about yourself. Maybe you love hiking, playing an instrument, or are obsessed with a certain type of coffee. These quirks make you memorable and relatable. How can you weave them into your brand? Once you have crafted your story, how do you share it? Here are 4 key places where storytelling can be powerful. Social media. Share behind the scenes moments, challenges, and wins. website, and blog. Your About page should tell a compelling story of your journey. Podcasting and video. Let people hear and see you. It builds trust faster. Networking and speaking. People remember stories, not pictures, so share your experiences authentically. Pick one of these platforms and draft a short version of your brand story to share this week. I know some of you might be thinking, but Krista, I'm not an expert. Who would want to hear my story? Let me tell you, people connect with authenticity, not perfection. The biggest mistake you can make is waiting until you are ready. You'll never feel 100% ready, and that's okay. I don't think I've ever felt 100% ready, but you know what? I've done it anyway. I started this podcast when I had no idea how to put it together. I started a women entrepreneur organization when I had no idea if the women around me would support the organization. Thankfully, they have, and our organization is 19 years old this year. But what if you really need to feel 100% ready? There are many ways you can help yourself get the confidence you need. You can enroll in a program to learn about the topic that you're passionate about. This is where lifelong learning comes into play. You can attend conferences and workshops to continue discovering new ideas and new connections. You could enroll in a certification program to give yourself that credibility that you need. You could listen to inspiring stories of how other women have done it, and this is why Womenpreneur Asia exists. So if you haven't gone through all our seasons, this is your cue to listen to some of our episodes. The thing is, listening to someone's story could lift you up and provide hope and inspiration for your own journey in business. So never discount the simple act of hearing a story that will inspire you to become more confident. Here's my mini challenge for you. Write down one limiting belief you have about sharing your story and reframe it into a positive statement. For example, I'm not expert enough can become, I have valuable experiences that can help others. I hope I've helped you realize that personal branding isn't just about a logo. It's about how people perceive you. And the best way to build trust is through storytelling. Start small, share a piece of your journey in everything that you do online and offline, and let people connect with the real you. If you want more guidance, I do conduct workshops, small group coaching, and webinars on telling better stories for businesses. Thanks for listening to Womenpreneur Asia. If you found this helpful, share it with a friend and tag me on social media. You can Google me, Krista Goon, and find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Until next time, keep sharing your story and building a brand that truly reflects you.